Hi everyone, I have a product from Temu that I want to try out with you. If you can't tell, this it's already peeking through. This is how my package arrived. Luckily, I don't think the contents are damaged. I just am lucky that it arrived and they didn't mark it undeliverable. This is one of those items I added to my cart. I waited until it came up as a penny, so I only paid 1 cent plus the $2.99 shipping, $3 total. And it's these acrylic markers, because I have seen these advertised so many times. Once you watch one advertisement, they keep feeding it to you until you're like, I want to try that. Basically, these were the first markers that they advertised and kept putting out, and these work really well. However, they do bleed significantly through the page onto the next page of whatever you're coloring. And two, these do dry out. So supposedly, I don't know how these work as far as drying out goes, but you're supposed to be able to paint your page and it doesn't go through. I have so many paint markers, so I'm assuming I could just use those. However, I'll never pass up a deal, and these are only $3. So I'm just gonna try these out on my Coraline coloring page. Yes, it is probably AI made and stuff, because what is that hand? Atrocious. I also got these markers off of Temu too, so I just wanted to show you how it bleeds through, and then we're gonna try these markers out and see how they don't bleed through. So I'm just gonna color in her little dragonfly clip, and this will be the only part with this marker so we can see if it actually goes through. Ta-da! All right, let's open these up. This is just the 12 pack, and these are all the colors we get: yellow, orange, pink, red, light green, dark green, blue, darker blue, brown, purple, white, and black. Other variations of this marker, this one's the brush tip, which I've never had an acrylic paint marker with the brush tip. Other variations are just like your standard marker tip. Water-based ink, shake well, high saturation. Ooh, put these like that. We're gonna try the yellow on her raincoat first. And I guess this shows you how much. Shake the pen before each use to even out ink, avoid affecting the use result. Okay. And I guess this shows you how much is left. So with typical markers, that does not look like a brush. Now I wonder if it will cover the black. Yeah, it definitely covers the black, so you'll have to be careful coloring in your pages. Typically with paint markers, that tip won't already be saturated, so I do like that it comes already full of paint and ready to use. When I've seen other people use these markers, you don't typically see the paint strokes, or brush strokes, I guess you can say. This one I'm kind of noticing paint strokes on it, like at least on that side for sure, but maybe it will dry smooth. All right, so I just went over that black line and it actually showed through, so I am happy about that because I wouldn't want to lose details. Yeah. Ooh, that makes life so much easier. I guess it was just oversaturated on the other part, and that's why it covered the black line right there. Is that a part of her hair, or is that the raincoat? I have no idea. Looks pretty yellow. There are a few spots I missed, but c'est la vie. And would you look at that? It does not go through. That will make my life a ton easier because I love coloring my pages. However, with those other markers, I do end up wasting a lot of paper because I have to put it behind, and even you can't reuse the same paper, because if I use those markers from Temu that I just showed, like with this purple, but let's say this paper's already marked up, I go through and I want to color yellow with those other markers, this purple will seep through no matter how dry it is and stain the page you're coloring. So it's just crazy that it soaks it up and comes through and yada yada. Yeah, I like these markers. Let's try her blue hair. Gotta choose the right one. Ooh, that's nice. That's like legit paint. I think they have other tips too, like finer ones, so you can get into smaller crevices for small details. However, this one's kind of versatile. You can get into those smaller details because its tip is flexible, kind of like a brush. And I believe one of their gimmicks is you can like start coloring in one place and go back to coloring it, and it won't create layers. Like it will still look like that smooth effect, where those other markers from Temu, if you were to let it dry and go back, it builds. And so you can see the brush strokes on those other markers too. If you don't color quick enough, it doesn't look smooth, but if you do color quick enough, it does look smooth. And on this one, you don't even gotta worry about that. It's funny, as I'm coloring, I'm like, I'm gonna be so bummed when these dry out because I do like these a lot. And compared to other paint markers, this one I feel like is almost less paint, more marker. Like it's more friendly to color on coloring pages, where those other paint markers are better for coloring on rocks and stuff like that. I don't even know if that makes sense. Ooh, so pretty. using this black one, I'm actually not thinking that it's paint. This one is going on like a marker. You see all the brush strokes compared to the yellow and blue? I don't know why. Why is this one acting more like a marker and less of a paint? This is totally marker. So strange. Yeah, this is 100% a marker. It's definitely a different formula, and now I'm kind of confused. You guys can definitely see this on camera, right? Look at all the paint strokes. And even the way it's going on, it doesn't even read as paint in person. This 100% reads as just a generic marker. That is peculiar, because why would the yellow and blue come off like paint? I want to test out some of the other colors too and see if they read, like this reads as paint to me. Look how thick that is. This doesn't read as a marker, this reads as paint. I'm just going to use white over the cat. That reads as paint to me. I will say, even with the paint ones though, you can see the brush strokes. Closer I look at it, you can see it. Just yellow is so vibrant. I think it was just harder to tell with that, so that was kind of misleading. Ooh, I like this green. This is nice, like a nice pastel green. All right, let's try this purple into this blue. Ooh, I like this too. And lastly, let me try this red. Yeah, I would say all the colors read as paint minus that black. The black just straight on reads as marker. So I don't know if having black paint is harder to create or what, because yeah, do you guys see that doesn't read as paint? That just reads as marker. My final thoughts of these paint markers, these are all a win. I'm gonna dub the black a fail because there's no way that's paint. That being said, $3 for all these paint markers, win. I think normally a 12 pack might be like $5 on their thing, then you have to factor in the $2.99 shipping. So $8, I don't know if I'd pay $8 for that, but I'm just cheap. How much would you guys pay for this 12 pack of markers? Now having seen what it looks like on paper compared to what it is, what would be the max shipping including that you would pay for these? I think for me, maximum with shipping, maybe $6. So I got it for half off shipped. That's a pretty good deal. I do like them better than these markers that I've previously got off Temu. So I do think these are the better choice compared to these ones. I'll just have to see how long it takes for these to dry out. When I've purchased these ones in the past, some of them already arrived dried out, and I think they say you can like dip it in water to revive it. That's never worked. Even with like eyebrow pencils and stuff I've tried it with, it's never worked. It just makes the tip wet with water, but not with ink. The ink's like dried out within it. That being said, I am excited to start coloring with these markers over the other ones. I'll kind of switch back and forth, but at least I don't have to use any backing to protect this. I just got off the page, but I don't have to use any backing to protect my surface area. All right, guys, thanks for hanging out with me today. If you want, feel free to like and subscribe. And until next time, bye, friends.